With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to That Will Never Work podcast. You can check us out every week, Tuesday mornings at 6 a.m. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Chisholm Group, ChismGroup, ChismGroup, and that will be Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also follow the podcast on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, iTunes Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and a host of other channels. All you have to look for is That Will Never Work podcast. And you're listening today. It's your host, Maurice. I started this podcast in the hopes of encouraging people in becoming better persons, business persons, and entrepreneurs. One of the things that has plagued me in moving my company / organization forward has been rejection and the fear of rejection. Now, I don't know how many of you have experienced these moments of rejection, how many times you've come across it, how many different ways, both seen and unseen. I know for myself, I liken it to trying to find yourself as you're as you're maturing, you're growing up in your teenage years. You find out that, hey, things aren't the way they seem, in your early 20s, to basic things such as, oh, wow, I didn't get my favorite toy I wanted for Christmas. Or, hey, I wanted to go on a date and someone stood me up. You have these moments where you feel like you've been rejected. Have you ever applied for a job and you get that letter saying, we've gone in another direction? You do not have enough experience. Or what some people have been getting lately has been, you have too much experience and this particular job does not meet even your own qualifications, let alone ours. What form of rejection have you experienced? And how have you gotten around it? So, let me go further. So, for myself, I recall my first real sense of rejection when it had come to the workplace. I was 18 years old. I had just graduated high school. I was not one that had gone and attended college directly. I did it a little later on. I am a product of being an adult learner. But I had the fortunate opportunity of working for a Fortune 500 company right out of high school. Granted, I was a file clerk. It started off as a summer job right out of high school, and I actually had the opportunity of working there for clearly almost 2 years. I did not take it seriously. Again, I'm young. This is my very first job. I'm a file clerk, and I was not able to be mature enough to really handle it as an adult. So my duties were to assist my direct supervisor. She was actually the office manager. So she was in charge of moving supplies. She was in charge of moving the office. She was in charge of finding seats for new employees and logins and passwords and finding desks and getting phone numbers and things like that, all of the sort, right? So with me answering to her, I had the opportunity of understanding how the office from a place of logistics should be ran. Not understanding the importance of that and how that would play in my role today, but I had the opportunity of seeing that. So in my role, I had to file files away in a file room, and there could have been times where I sat there for 3 or 4 days straight just filing stuff away. I also had the job of shredding paper, and that was sitting there with my old school Walkman or Discman, listening to music, shredding papers, hours and hours and hours on end. Also, the job consisted of me assisting the claims department and just sorting their mail and sorting their claims. Not doing any claims. I had moments where I might have answered a phone here or there. I had the opportunity of doing helping out other departments in their mass mailings to members. And mind you, this was a company that dealt with persons who were disabled. And I'm not trying to say their name, but it was an insurance company. And so I had to assist with mass mailers to members. The opportunity was a great opportunity. Granted, I'm 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, fresh out of high school, and not truly taking advantage of my opportunity. This particular opportunity I took for granted. I used to call out. I would take lunch. The normal people would take lunch anywhere between 12 and 2 o'clock. I had a girlfriend who was technically still in high school, and she didn't get out of school until 2 o'clock, 2:30. She would come and meet me in Center City where I worked, and I would take a lunch from like 3 to 4 or 3:30 to 4:30, get off at 5 o'clock. That did not work in a traditional business setting, but because my manager, she would let me go here and there because I would work right through lunch while everyone else is going on lunch trying to get things done. By the time they would come back from lunch, I would have so many things done for them and put in place that by the time it was for them to come back off of lunch, they were ready to maneuver and make things happen. And there were a few times where my coattail might have been pulled for that, so I might run downstairs for a quick 15 minutes and say, hey, how you doing? But I got to run back upstairs. This is my little 15-minute break. I can no longer take this hour lunch anymore, or half an hour lunch anymore. Maybe on Fridays or payday, I might take a late lunch. I might be able to do that or swing that a little bit because everybody wasn't always, going full out, And then there were times where, because of the lateness of the day, I would be looked for. People would be looking for me to say, hey, this printer needs paper. So I was also the one that distributed the paper throughout the office. So, and the job itself was technically a part-time job. I was already in the job, like I said, for almost 2 years. I was really in it from June of 94 to February of 96. The job had become available as a full-time position in December of 95. I was like, all right, it's a full-time job. What can I do? What do I need to do? Mind you, 2 months prior to December, we had a few temps that had come in, and they applied for the job also. At that time, I felt like I was a shoo-in. I was already doing the work, and how do I keep this job? So I started coming in more frequently because of it was a part-time job, and unfortunately, I took advantage of my efficiency. So I would, instead of me going in 5 days a week, I would go in maybe 3 or 4 because me getting the paper done, getting these mailers out, things like that, I will work too fast to keep my job literally 5 days a week. So I would work 4 days, be off 2, be off 1 here and there, depending on the holidays, all that type of stuff. So what ended up happening was when it was time for me to apply for this job, and then now I'm trying to be there 5 days a week. With me being there 5 days a week, I started running into an issue of not having enough work. So I found myself being bored, trying to find things to do, create jobs, things like that. And unfortunately with that, it took me out of place of where I needed to be. So now let me get to the part of rejection. I applied for the job. A month or so had gone by. I went through the interview. Unfortunately, I went through with a cocky mentality. I'm already in it. Here's what's going on. And come to find out, those persons that were temps, they applied for the job. One of them, they did reject up front, and she left. The other young lady that was there that applied, I could not see her doing the job. And it was not a sense of, hey, I'm a guy, she's a girl. It was just sometimes when I was there or wasn't there, when I wasn't there, she would try to help out with some things here and there, and she was not able to get them done in a timely fashion. So I just took it for granted that I was going to get this particular job. Well, that didn't happen. I was not given a job. Come to find out, that very young lady that I assumed was not going to get the job, she got the job. That was told to me because of me not being there, not being in the places that I needed to be. It occurred because I was not in the position that this young lady was in, with her having a family and kids, single parent. And also for me, I guess not displaying, and this is my own opinion here, not displaying how serious this particular job was. I did not take it seriously. And at this time, I'm at this very moment today, I'm blaming it on age. I'm blaming it on maturity and inexperience. But I do believe that when she was hired, that was probably the first time I had felt that type of devastation and rejection. I could not believe that because I was already in this position, I was already doing the work efficiently and effectively, in my opinion. Yes, was I running out of work because of how fast I was moving? Yes. Did I have other issues? Yes. Did I feel as though I could have been trained better? Probably. But at the same time, this young lady got the job, and I was devastated. I was hurt. I felt rejected. I felt like that, I guess to some degree, I was entitled to this position because I was already there. That at that very moment when I left that Friday. So what happened was my very last day of being in that spot, I didn't realize how immature I was acting until my very last day, and the young lady who was taking over my spot, even though people were congratulating her, they were also feeling bad for me because I was leaving. They were giving me cards and things like that, and everybody was not necessarily happy about me leaving. And some people told her that. So it really made her feel uncomfortable in taking this position. So, hindsight, did she feel rejected? Did she feel sad? Did she feel unappreciated? She was doing what she needed to do for her family. And so, sometimes, do you really understand how you, when in your midst of feeling rejected and upset, how does that affect any and everyone else around you, both family, friends, or indirectly? It's hard feeling rejected. It's hard dealing with those emotions. It's hard keeping them intact and being mindful of what's going on around you, because sometimes you get too caught up in that. Maurice, if I had to speak to my younger self, that type of mentality and direction you were going in will never work. That will never work. I should have told myself that. Maurice, those actions will not get you to the place where you need to be. That attitude will not be effective enough to get you ahead. What is it that you need to do now? Where is it that you're really trying to go? Are you trying to impress somebody? At this time, I do believe I've learned from that tremendously. I've realized that sometimes rejection that you might feel, it does affect other people, not just yourself. It's hard dealing with it. How do you get over it at a time where it's not easy? How do you motivate yourself? How do you become a better person? For me, because of how I felt also that particular day, I recall I had wanted to leave early. I was trying everything in my power to leave early. I didn't want to be there. I literally was not trying to be there. And it was that young lady, she left early, and I believe my manager didn't even show up that day. to work because it was such a hard decision to make. And I had to say for myself, I don't think I made it easy for anyone to make that type of decision. I don't believe that the people around me, because of my personality, I believe it was my personality and things I was getting done, I don't think they made it easy. And unfortunately, I wish that, now this older self will apologize to her. I'm apologizing. I'm not sure if any of my friends or connections still know who this young lady, where she is, where she's working, things like that. I would love to apologize because that was very immature of me. That feeling of rejection does not get you anywhere. It should be a jump start to becoming a better person, but everyone does not learn from that. So in my message to you today, please, when you feel rejected, try to find ways of coping with it, of dealing with it in a very positive and constructive way. I had gone home that night and I cried and cried and cried because I had never felt that before in my life. Not that way. That was hard. That was hard. And I didn't know what to do with myself from that point forward. I enjoyed the job. When it really had come down to it, I enjoyed the job. That was my little bit of money, and I was a teenager working down here with all these adults. I felt good about myself. So how do you move forward? How do you deal with it? How do you make the best of a situation that may not necessarily be in your best interest initially, but how do you turn it around to be in your best interest? How do you turn it around to be something positive? How do you make it to being something that will benefit yourself and maybe even that person that's also involved? Keep in mind, this is only the jump start to the rest of your life. It is the motivating factor that you can use to jumpstart your business, your marriage, your family, anything. It can start anything. That moment of rejection, don't allow it to fester. Don't allow it to materialize as something that is so negative that it can throw you off the deep end. Turn that negative power or energy into something more powerful and greater than you. From that day forward, I tried to be better than what I was the day before. I never meant to hurt that young lady at that time. I was all concerned and consumed with myself. And I tried to be better every day, try to better myself every day. I need to be better. I need y'all to be better. And I thank y'all for listening to me. I would love for you to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. I also would love for you to feel free to share your own stories on social media. You can email me at mchisholm@chisholmgroup.net. If you have any questions or concerns, I would love to hear from you. Feel free. Be sure to visit my website, www.chisholmgroup.net. If you would love to hear some replays, if you will need some other services that we do provide from Chisholm Group LLC, and those type of moments of rejection encourage me to start Chisholm Group LLC. I've had a lot of growing moments a lot of moments that has allowed me to mentor other persons, encourage other persons, and sometimes you need that one moment of rejection to help you find it. Thank you very much for listening. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.